Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with a weekly review video with Johnny. We'll have a bit of a chat about what has caught his attention this week. So let's go to the video. All right, Johnny, how are you this week?
Good, tired this week, Stu, but holding on, surviving, looking forward to the weekend and a week off work. So all good here. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Same as you, a little bit tired. Always a little bit tired come Thursday for some reason. I think it's one of those things you sort of start the week, full of energy, and then it sort of wears off as the week goes on. That's it.
Yeah, I can relate.
That's it. But you're the opposite. You're a lot younger than me, Johnny. You should be coming up to your most energetic time at the end of the week, I think, right?
Well, in normal times, perhaps that would be the case, but at the moment, yeah, we can't get up to our usual activities.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
So you're going, you're going hard from Monday to Friday. That's it.
That's it, yeah.
All right, good. So what's on the agenda this week, Johnny? The first thing is the report from the Bank of Spain.
Yeah, a report from the Bank of Spain by the director of the economics department, Oscar Arce, where he talked about the impacts of the pandemic on the young people living in Spain, which I don't think, we can all go in and say, it's bad. It's not looking so great. But I was quite taken aback by the sheer length of the list of stuff that he listed off about how it's impacted young people. I don't know, like some of the things you're not surprised by, but when you actually think about the impact of some of them, it's quite profound. So you've got things like not being able to go to university in person is impacting people's quality of education. That the quality of education in general is going down as a result of that. There's less foreign students coming in. You've got a high rate of young people unemployed. That was already the case, but now, of course, particularly in professions where young people would typically work, so restaurants, bars, where there's a lot of up-on-your-feet activity and social contact, it's obviously been shut down or restricted greatly, so that makes it difficult. A lot of young people haven't been able to take advantage of ERTEs due to their work situation, so furlough schemes. What else we got? Of course, that creates difficulties in the labor market. You feel vulnerable about your long-term stability. It makes it difficult to get on the property ladder. And then the last thing on the list, just about at the end now, was the price that young people are going to have to pay for this. Probably an increase in taxes and, again, Spain's population pyramid and supporting the pension system.
Well, yeah. So thanks for the good news. What's the situation when it comes to this? Like, so these are recommendations that they put forward, or that they want the government to try to act on these, or it's just some type of report that they put out every year and highlight this, or was it pandemic specific?
Well, that's the impression I got. It was one, pandemic specific, and two, it was a report to kind of bring these points to attention because, we know the situation for young people is pretty bad here in Spain, but maybe the extent to which it's bad or the details of how it's bad is often overlooked.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it got brought up in the debate last week about how the stat was it takes about 12 years on average for young people living in Madrid to save for a housing deposit. But yeah, I don't think it gets as much attention as it maybe should in the news.
I think we spoke about something similar a couple of weeks ago that a lot of people, I don't know whether it's an official way of thinking, but the government relies on families to pick up the burden when it comes to youth in this country, right? So they know that kids are going to fall back on the families, and a lot of families are willing to have children living with them for a long time. Okay, so into their late 20s, into their early 30s, and sometimes even longer. So it's generally accepted that that's the way that the society works here. A little bit different in some other countries, especially when we talk about the Englands, the States, maybe Australia. People tend to emancipate a little bit earlier than they do here, or quite a lot earlier in some cases. But I think it's the unwritten rule that families pick up this burden. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it was something that kind of caught my attention when I came here. having grown up in the UK, being in the university environment, a lot of young people are very keen to become independent once they hit 18, once they go to university. But here, you know, a lot of people my age still sharing apartments or still living with their parents, and it's completely cultural, like normal. Here culturally as well. And given kind of the economic situation as well, for a lot of people, it does make sense to do that.
Well, the situation that you're in, I think you said a couple of weeks ago, you're 26, right?
Yeah.
You live by yourself?
Yeah, I live by myself.
So that would be a dream scenario for a lot of people your age here, right?
Yeah, it definitely would. I do recognise that I'm quite fortunate to be in the situation I'm in.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And the people you hang around with, are they? Do you hang around with a lot of Spanish people the same age?
Yeah, so I've got quite a few friends from different parts of Spain living in Madrid, and a lot of them are either sharing with housemates or perhaps sharing with their partner or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, there's very few people that I know of who are within my friend circle who do live alone.
Does the topic come up in conversation of just how hard they find it, or is it just something that they accept?
I don't think it's something we ever really talked about, but yeah, I guess maybe it's just so normal that it just gets overlooked.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that when I've told some people that I live on my own, I get like this, oh wow, kind of reactions sometimes.
You must be making the big bucks. That's right. If you're able to live on your own. I'm only joking. But I mean, it's been a problem. I mean, I've been here, 20 years plus, and it was a problem when I first came to Spain, back in the early 90s, people would complain about the same thing. I saw young people living with their parents up until the age of 28, 29, 30, until they got their first fixed contract, as they call it here, their first good job opportunity, let's say. And I mean, it was just part of life, I suppose. And people wanted probably to be a little bit more financially independent sooner, but I suppose, as I said, it just seems to be the way the country works.
Yeah, I mean, I actually did consider when I was moving here getting a room, but I think part of me, having lived alone when I was in France in a student apartment, which was super cheap, expected something similar in Madrid. That obviously wasn't the case. And then, of course, I don't want to call it peer pressure, but like social circles saying, you deserve it, like go and get a place by yourself, like you can. So I did. I like it. I like living alone, but I could have saved a considerable amount of money if I'd moved in with a shared apartment. Yeah.
Well, I did the same thing, when I first came to Madrid. I found my own place, lived by myself. I didn't need to share. I was making enough money that I could do that, and it was something that I didn't consider sharing. I know a lot of people want to share. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. People want that social activity of sharing, but I didn't feel that I needed to do it. And the other point that you made there, with regard to the jobs that a lot of people are working in, hostelry, tourism, for example, those are always going to be the most, during a pandemic, of course, as we have seen, those are the most volatile types of jobs, right? Tourist industry is on its knees, no hotel work, bars and restaurants shutting down all over the country. So that's also, exacerbating that situation.
Yeah, especially given that a lot of the workers that support that sector are amongst the younger generations.
That's it.
And they rely on it for, maybe not their full-time income, but maybe to get by a bit, pay some bills. But
and of course, we're coming off the back of that previous crisis as well, which probably still hadn't worked its way out of society to some extent. That let's say, for example, you were 18 or 19 when that financial crisis or debt crisis hit, and you were trying to get back on your feet in 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then bang, 2020, down we go again.
Well, that's another thing, actually, that the report mentions, is that despite an expansive economic cycle following 2008, that in Spain, that cycle still failed to solve the problem of youth unemployment here.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah. I mean, the figures are staggering when it comes to youth unemployment. I mean, there's some areas where you look at the figures and you say it can't be real. 60% youth unemployment in some parts of Spain. 60%. I mean, that's unbelievable figures. But then a lot of people are going to write comments on this video, Johnny, saying, "Oh, it's not true. The unemployment figures aren't real in Spain. They're always fake, and even 16% unemployment, it's not real." So I don't know what happens with the unemployment figures here in Spain, but they're always bad when you compare them to other countries. So in Australia today, they're saying, "Oh, we want to get the unemployment rate down to below 5%." And I'm thinking, okay, so you're trying to get it down below 5, and here they're trying to get it down below 15. So there's a huge difference there, So, but
yeah, I mean, the only comparable countries really in the Eurozone are maybe Portugal and Greece that have similar, and Italy as well, perhaps.
Maybe, I don't know, but I said, people are going to say, no, in Spain they work the figures out differently, and I've always thought, well, why do they do that? I mean, because when they put the figures comparatively, Spain is always looking bad on those OECD figures,
Yeah.
When it comes to these unemployment figures. But anyway, so one of the other things you wanted to talk about was Santander Bank and youth mortgages. So we'll go into that one because it sort of leads into from what we're talking about. So Banco Santander, I think you mentioned they want to give young people the opportunity. They're offering 1,000 mortgages at 95%, was it?
That's it, yeah. So to give the viewers a bit of the context, so obviously in other countries you can get up to maybe 90% of the total value of the house you're going to buy, or the apartment, or whatever the property is. In Spain, it's typically, in almost every case here, is about 80% maximum that they'll give you, because after the crisis of 2008, those conditions were really strictly tightened.
So you need a 20% deposit.
Exactly, yeah. So what Santander are doing now is an experiment, is they're giving out 1,000 95% mortgages. So that would mean you'd only need a 5% deposit. And so the criteria for that is you need to be below 35 years of age. You need a guarantor, I believe is the word, up for the first 5 years. And it's you can pay it back over up to a maximum of 30 years.
Okay. And what are that? And when it comes to the amount, is there a criteria there as well?
I didn't see anything about amount. So I guess, I haven't seen anything about an amount.
And what's the reason for this? Are they trying to, are they copying plans around the world? Santander Bank, of course, has a presence in the UK, the States. Is there something similar there?
That could be the case. So yeah, in the UK, when they announced the budget a couple of months ago, they've brought back these 95% mortgages.
Okay.
Which are, in some cases in the UK, they're not as good as they seem. You'll pay a lot higher interest rate as a result of that. But maybe this is an experiment to try and help young people out to get on the property market in Spain, because a lot of people, as we just said, are saving up to 12 years or can't even get on the property ladder because of the unstable work situation. So perhaps this is an experiment to try that out, to try and help out some younger people, which I think it's a good initiative. I guess we'll see how it goes over the long term, but it's perhaps a step in the right direction. Yeah,
and the other banks said that they're going to follow this, or Santander's out on its own?
I've only seen Santander for now. This is a very recent piece of news. I think it only came out a couple of days ago that I've seen it. So,
all right, good.
So maybe we'll see if any of the other banks go for something similar.
Yeah, so 1,000 mortgages doesn't seem like a lot, really, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't. I was thinking, how quickly will that be taken up? What is the rate at which people get mortgages in Spain, particularly young people?
Oh no, I'm sure it's gonna be snapped up very, very quickly, probably by people that don't really need it.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's a good initiative, but for myself, I would like to buy a property, but when I saw this, I thought, okay, that's good news, but it doesn't mean I should go trigger happy trying to find the first available property to buy it. I think you gotta be careful, and as much as this is a good initiative, you gotta Like, particularly when it comes to a property, you got to be getting exactly what you want.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I think I also read, I looked into it a little bit, and I think Santander is trying to revamp their image amongst youth, which is something that we also spoke about last week, maybe the week before, that the banking sector is sort of seen as this old industry, and the younger generations, Johnny, as you mentioned, are using the fintech companies that are providing different options, and people think of banks as the old economy rather than the new one. Maybe it's a way Santander is trying to get into that youth market. I don't know.
It could be, yeah, because when you think about them, they are considered amongst, probably, let's call them the big three or the big four in Spain. So BBVA, Santander, CaixaBank, maybe Sabadell, but it's a smaller regional one, I guess. But if you think about those three, Santander is the only one that I've seen launch a digital offer right now through their open bank platform. So of the three of them, of those three major banks, I think Santander is a step ahead of BBVA and CaixaBank.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Yeah, and as I said, trying to attract that youthful customer. Santander, I think, announced some big changes this week. Basically, the whole management was removed. The CEO was changed, and the top 4 or 5 positions under that as well. So they're changing their they're trying to change the strategy, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, as we said last week, perhaps this is the wake up call that the traditional banking sector has been waiting for.
Don't know. All right, good. What else have we got there, John?
Yeah, so let's stay with companies. So Telefonica, obviously the big, everyone knows it as a mobile telephone operator in Spain, has changed their logo after several decades, I believe, right? They've had that classic Telefonica text logo for several years, at least the 70s or the 80s perhaps, and they've reverted back to something which is somewhat resembles one of their older logos, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I had a look at it, and it does look like a logo from the 1970s. Yeah, with the little dots, right? I think they've revamped a couple of times over the last few years. I'm not sure, because I think they went from Telefonica to be called Movistar. I'm not sure whether Movistar became like a brand name,
Well, that's it. Yeah, Telefonica is the group name, and then Movistar and O2 are the two brands under which they operate. So they've got, in Spain, they've got Movistar. In the UK, Germany, they've got O2, and then they've launched O2 in Spain as their low-cost alternative to Movistar. My knowledge of the telecom sector, because I actually used to be in this sector, is that connectivity, IoT, the cloud, cybersecurity, these are all big themes and big transformation points in that sector. And Telefonica is trying to tap into their technological capabilities and strengthen their presence and offer in those areas as well. Yeah. So whereas they've been known as a traditional broadband, fiber, mobile operator, they're trying to branch out into that IoT, cybersecurity, cloud sector.
Okay. So who are they going to compete with there? Some of those big American companies?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, across the whole telecom sector, everyone is in that transformation. So Deutsche Telekom, who has the T-Mobile brand, is very fixed on it. Orange, again in France, who also operate in Spain, they're very fixed on it. So this is a trend that started several years ago in the telecom sector, and it's starting to pick up speed. If you look on any telecom company's website now, you'll see that they're showing off their different IoT projects, whether it's drones or whether it's connected cars or whatever it may be. But it's a very very present topic. Yeah.
So Telefonica sees itself as a company that can compete with the Apples and the Googles and the big tech.
Maybe not in that sense, but more in terms of the connectivity part of it. So from your iPhone or from your SIM card, essentially, wherever it's plugged into, that's where the offer would come in. That I think the connected world, how everything is becoming more and more connected, and Wi-Fi and connection to 3G in your car is becoming more and more available. This is where they're looking to tap into.
So they're not going to start making cars like those other tech companies, no? electric
No,
these connected cars and things like that.
I guess the actually making the cars themselves, probably not, but perhaps the connectivity within the car, so the SIM card and the offer to which networks it can connect to at what different prices you can do that, then yeah, perhaps they will be getting into that.
Okay. And all of this is based on 5G?
Yeah, I mean 5G, yeah, another hot topic in the telecom sector, which is picking up speed quickly. Telefonica, I think, trying to roll that out in Spain as well.
Yeah, I think they've got it rolled out in the big cities at least. I'm not sure what it's like at a national level, but they're always telling us how much they are advancing Telefonica. If you listen to the speeches of the CEO and the advertisements that they have on the television, they're always telling you just how they have, connected Spain basically. And if it wasn't for Telefonica last year, the country would have collapsed.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is when I look at telecom companies, particularly from an investing perspective, which is what I tend to look at, I do tend to look favorably on Telefonica, particularly now with this transformation as well. And they're trying to spin off their business in Latin America, most of it apart from Brazil, due to those currency fluctuations and devaluation, which is really impacting their revenues.
Well, that's where they went strong into those markets, didn't they? They went into those Latin American markets. I remember back many years ago, when I went to Argentina, Telefonica was a big service provider there as well. And I even met people working for Telefonica that were sent there to set up the lines and everything back in the day. Yeah.
But then of course Argentina is probably one of the worst hit by hyperinflation or very high currency devaluation last year. So looking through annual reports, you can see, we've lost revenues because of depreciation in the peso.
Yeah, that's right. It's the problem, I suppose, when you go into some of those markets. Yeah, stable currencies. Good. And what have we got lastly here, Johnny?
So we've got Bizum.
Talking about
Bizum.
banks as well. Are we here still, or a payment system?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a crossover. So Bizum, we'll say in English, is it's a mobile payment service. So let's say you and we go out for a drink and I pay or you pay, and then the other one says, "Oh, I'll Bizum you the money." So it's essentially you just need a mobile number, and you'll send the money over to your friend.
So you're not going to shout. So you're not going to shout around. You want me to send you the money later, do you?
I want it by Bizum. Yeah,
you want it as soon as possible. No such thing as shouting around anymore. No, everyone wants. Yeah. I get the concept, right? So you go out to dinner with 4 people. The bill comes, instead of saying separate bills for 4 people, one person pays, and then in the next 10 minutes or 20 minutes, everybody sends you their share through an electronic payment, right?
Essentially, yeah. All you need is the mobile number of that person, and then you can send them money. And in most cases, Bizum is it's integrated into your mobile banking app.
Yeah, okay. You just have to activate it. So Bizum, Bizum, Spanish they say Bizum, as we said, and this is a way to send money quickly, and it's available, I think, in all of the major banks here, right? I think basically everyone.
I believe so. Yeah. I think I'm actually yet to meet a person that doesn't have Bizum or Bizum on their phone.
Yeah. And the big advantage here is that there are no fees.
That's it. There's no fees. You can send from 50 cents up to 1,000 euros in a single transaction. But this is where the news story comes in. I think you used to be able to make 150 Bizums per month, and now it's been cut down to 60 for security reasons. Me personally, I'm not even going to get up to 60 Bizums per month, never mind 150. But it's interesting, the concept of security reasons as to why they'd bring that in.
Yeah, they're also going into the business areas as well. So there's a lot of businesses now that accept Bizum payments online and in shop as well. I've seen sometimes you go into an establishment and they'll say that we accept Bizum, so you can just make a transfer and a little ding comes up on the shop owner's phone and sees that you've made the payment, and away you go with the goods.
Good. That I didn't know. I saw it in the barbershop that I went to a couple of weeks ago, but I guess that would be a personal Bizum. But business Bizum that could also be a very innovative way of paying going forward. Yeah,
they're trying to go into that market. They're competing, I should say, directly with credit card companies, but they're all owned by they're all controlled by the bank. So if you use a Bizum or if you use a credit card, banks get their cut. But they're competing against big companies like PayPal that have similar services.
Yeah, it makes me think actually about documentary I saw on China where a tourist took cash, and actually certain shops wouldn't accept the cash because they accepted pay only by WePay or I think it was Alipay or something. So WePay and Alipay.
The Chinese are big on the QR codes. You just scan it and pay automatically, which is also happening here as well. There's heaps of different payment systems here. Now, basically there's no way that you can't pay anymore, and cash, this is going to be a controversial topic because a lot of people think that this is some type of, plot, but cash is on the way out. You know what I mean, It is, yeah. I think however you look at it, use of cash is becoming less and less. Personally, I'm almost cashless in my day-to-day life. And you don't have a problem with that, Johnny?
No, not really. There's only maybe the barbers or like the odd, if I go to a takeaway sometimes, which is not that often, that maybe doesn't accept card or has a minimum for paying by card, then I'll go and I'll keep some cash for that. But in most cases, I'm not a big cash user.
I haven't had cash in my wallet for about 2 months.
Wow.
Everywhere I go, it's just easier, it's easier, it's faster, it's cleaner just to take out the card or the Apple Pay or Google Pay or whatever you use and, tap it away and away you go.
Well, that's it as well. And now that banks and different applications are offering you budgeting services, I know certain people in finance circles will say, pay with cash so that you stick to your limits. But now you can just track your spending within mobile apps. Yeah. And for me, that's so much easier than writing down or doing it in an Excel sheet, as much as I love Excel. Yeah. And it's just easier, it's quicker, and you've got it all there in the mobile app.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah. So Bizum, it's a good system. I like it. I've used it on various occasions, and as you said, you don't have to be mucking around with working out who owes what. You just divide the bill or whatever, and if somebody owes you money, you can just ask them. You can even ask them for a request. You can say, Johnny, how's that 25 you owe me going? And you send it. You send it through the Bizum.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, have you used it for any of your classes or any of your ventures that you have?
No, because I don't have it set up from a business point of view. You see, so I operate as a small company rather than self-employed, is what I was recommended to do back in the day. Even though it's just basically me, but. What happens is that you can apply for it as a business, but I have to install software and so forth, which is why I mainly use PayPal, because PayPal is just easier for me at the moment on the business sense. But I am looking to incorporate it into a web page that I have, and maybe in the future I'll go forward with it. But at the moment, no. But I imagine it's going to get more and more available from a business point of view in the future.
Well, particularly with the popularity amongst young people, then I think, if it branches into the business sector, then
well, that's it. Very popular. I mean, if you have a website and you are selling a product, so I sell English classes on the internet, so the idea is to get people to pay in the easiest way possible. You don't want people having to go to different pages or spending 5 minutes on a checkout system. You just want to be able to get the payment done as quickly as possible. And if Bizum makes that easy to do, well, I can only see, win-win with that.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. But anyway, all right. So we'll start to wrap it up there. Johnny, good talk today.
Yeah, likewise. I'll get off to Mercadona to do my weekly shop that's been postponed 3 times already.
All right. Okay. What's your favorite product there?
Controversial given the healthy lifestyle I try to live, but it's good. I mean, there might be a couple in my house, but it's not my favorite. My favorite, I think, are the chocolate chip cookies that they have. Okay. But I need to stay off them to try and reduce my sugar intake and opt for healthier alternatives.
One of my favorite products they have are they have these chicken pies, the empanadas. Have you seen them?
Yeah. I think are they in the frozen section? I think I've seen them
in the bakery section.
Okay. Right, that I haven't seen. I'll keep an eye out for it when I go
check
today.
them out. The chicken pie, I recommend it.
Okay, yeah, I've seen them. I think in Lidl in the frozen section. They got frozen empanadas, but yeah, I'm gonna have to go in.
These are big round ones like that.
All right,
Very
yeah,
tasty. I reckon.
Special occasion, perhaps.
I recommend it if you like a chicken pie. All right, Johnny, we'll wrap it up. Have a good one. See you later.
All right, you too, Stu. Bye-bye.
So there we go. That was the weekly review video here in Spain. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the situation out as you normally do. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.